Alrighty, we're
All
live.
right, we're live. Awesome. Well, hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is Lael Tate, and I work at the Northwest Portland Area Indian Health Board. I'm working with our Thrive and We Are Native projects. And we're just here to kind of close out some of our conversations we've been having for the last few weeks around this really awesome, healthy collaboration called Native Youth Are Medicine. So today we have just our different directors and project leaders from Center for Native American Youth, We Are Native, and Native Wellness Institute, just to share about this collaboration, talk about what our experience has been like, and kind of, and just talk about it and share about that, and then also talk about a really cool toolkit that we will be launching after this. So just to begin, I'm sure everyone is familiar with these faces, but we'll do some quick intros. So maybe I'll start with Cheyenne if you want to do an introduction for yourself and your organization.
Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cheyenne Brady. I am the project manager at Center for Native American Youth at the Aspen Institute. I am stepping in today for our executive director, Nikki Petrie. She is our amazing, fearless leader here at CNAY, and she was kind of the thought process behind this beautiful collaboration that we've been working on within the past month and some change. And I'm happy to be here. I'm grateful to be able to experience this platform with all of you and to share our knowledge with everyone. Thank you, Leo.
Thanks, Cheyenne. Stephanie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I am Stephanie Craig Rushing. I work at the Northwest Portland Area Indian Health Board. It's a tribal nonprofit organization that serves the 43 federally recognized tribes in Oregon, Washington, and Idaho. And I work with the team at the board on adolescent health promotion projects, including the We Are Native website, and was kind of around working with our coalition members about 10 years ago when we started to think about launching the website and work with youth on the topics that mattered most to them. So we've seen the We Are Native website go through a lot of iterations over that time. The technology changes swiftly, and we have to stay abreast of where young people are in their social media use to reach them through these channels. But that's kind of the work that I mostly work on, promoting adolescent health.
Thanks, Stephanie. And then Michelle, would you like to go?
Hi, everybody. My name is Michelle Singer, and I also too work at the Northwest Portland Area Indian Health Board. My project title is Healthy Native Youth Project Manager, and Stephanie and I work together along with our fabulous adolescent health team. My role is working in the area of with the adults, the educators, the parents, the elders, who want to be able to understand and be in touch and be informed about how to reach youth, how to work with youth, how to communicate with youth. And that includes technology such as this. And I'm very fortunate to be able to work with such amazing individuals and a dedicated group of folks who want to raise healthy Native youth. So for all the Navajos out there, just wanted to let you know my clans are Twitachini and born for Honagahni, also Tepetlajan and then also Tachini. So thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. And then lastly, last but not least, our wonderful host on this platform, Jolene.
Thanks, Lael. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jolene Joseph, and I come from the Aani people of Fort Belknap, Montana. I live here in Oregon and am the executive director of the Native Wellness Institute. And we're just super happy to be involved in this collaboration and to be asked and to be a part of Nikki's vision. So we love to be supportive. And this is, let's see, this is our 179th Power Hour today. So, and the Native Wellness Institute, we're a national nonprofit. The IRS calls us a nonprofit. We like to say that we're a social profit because we're benefiting society, the work that we do. And we are celebrating our 20th anniversary this year in the middle of a pandemic. And since March, we knew that an already traumatized people would be re-traumatized. And we wanted to do our part. We wanted to contribute in a good way and offer just positive and uplifting programming and messaging. And so we quickly met when kind of the country was shutting down, and we brainstormed and we came up with, let's do Native Wellness Power Hours, and every day for 1 hour, we'll offer this programming. So that's what we did, and here we are. We had no idea it would be going this long because we've never been in a pandemic before. But here we are, and we're making the best of it. So super happy to be here and super happy to be joining my sisters in this work. So thanks.
Thank you, Jolene, and thank you to Native Wellness Institute for hosting us. I think this is our 8th one with this group doing the Power Hours. So it's been a really awesome experience getting to kind of just share some of these resources and this collaboration with all of you. So really thankful for that. Just to kind of give a little more background about what we've been doing, we started this collaboration in September, beginning of September, and it's really focused on promoting self-love and self-care with Indigenous youth, and just putting out that positivity and really that empowerment and just giving people that strength to just love themselves and all of that. So the title of it is Native Youth Are Medicine, and we've had a few different projects within that. So the first was the Communities of Healing Power Hour. So that's what we're doing now. Several weeks ago, we had week-long power hours focused on emotional, physical, spiritual, and mental well-being with some really awesome guests and moderators. And so talking about what does wellness look like in all of these different lenses for Native youth, and how can Native youth really practice self-love and self-care. And then we also did a Native self-love bingo. So you can find that on all of our different channels. And you can go through and just kind of complete all of these different self-care and self-love little tasks. It's really fun. And we also, I'm trying to remember the last thing. Oh yes, we did a really cool call for submission. So it's still active. So if you want to go onto the We Are Native website, you can find some information. Basically, you can just submit a little blurb or a photo about what you do to take care of yourself and love yourself. And then our 3 organizations are working together to send out healing bundles to everyone. So with some really cool little content in there. So that's what we've been doing. We're really excited. It's been a really awesome collaboration. We're happy to bring everyone into it. And today we really want to reflect on what this collaboration has been like between our 3 organizations. So my first question, and I'll start with Cheyenne, since it really was Cheyenne, you and Nikki who brought our group together. So the first question is, what were your initial thoughts on the collaboration between our 3 organizations, and what has made this collaboration a success?
So how the collaboration started, it was Nikki's amazing, beautiful mind of wanting to bring all 3 amazing organizations together for the betterment of our youth, for the betterment of our people, to uplift everyone. I also wanted to note that the call for submissions is open to everyone, regardless of age. Send us a picture, tell us how you love yourself, and you will receive a gift from us. And my initial thoughts behind the collaboration, I was super excited. I didn't imagine that it would be as big. Cool. And this is my little guy. Hey. And he likes surprises. Okay, son. I never thought it would be so beautiful and get to where we're at today. But I will kick it back to Lael right now.
Thanks, Cheyenne. Yeah, it's so sweet to hear everyone's kids kind of running in and out between the meetings. So love that. Maybe I'll just pass it to Stephanie if you have any thoughts on this, and then we can go back to Cheyenne. Your initial thoughts and experience with the collaboration.
Sure. I mean, it felt just like the stars aligning because, as Lael was kind of telling the story, we had just spent the month of July doing kind of a virtual springboard lab with our We Are Native youth ambassadors and youth delegates, talking about the topics that were most pressing to them and how we as an organization, We Are Natives messaging could better support their wellness. And they came up with this theme of Indigilove begins with I, kind of centering around self-care. And at the very same moment that CNAY reached out to start conversations around, pulling our voices together around that issue. And, there are topics obviously that we have been working on independently for a very long time and alongside one another. But the timing just felt so serendipitous that everything that you were wanting to kind of promote and amplify, we too were thinking about how we could help do that. And so it just felt like, perfect timing that these conversations started to happen in September.
Yeah, it's so, sorry, Cheyenne. Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, Cheyenne, do you want to go back and kind of keep going?
Yeah, sure. My special guest has left the room now. Sorry, guys. But he's a part of the youth that we are paving this path for. So I had to give him his attention that he needed. But so how this came about is we were thinking about September, and September being the National Suicide Prevention Month, although we want to use that term minimally. And I want to give credit to Jolene for educating us further on those terms. So maybe you can help the viewers understand that thinking too. But we called it Native Youth Our Medicine, a self-love campaign, because we want them to love themselves, be aware of who they are, their special identity, know that they are medicine to the rest, to all of us. My initial thoughts behind the collaboration where we're just like, yeah, let's do it. And I didn't know what would come about, but as we came together as a collective and began really getting our wheels going, I think we came up with something super amazing that has been able to have a really big reach and hopefully has positively affected many of our people.
Thank you, Cheyenne. And then Jolene, would you want to share a little bit about some of the stuff you shared with us in our first meeting around the month of September and its significance and how we want to reframe it with our collaboration?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Thank you. Cheyenne, I love that your son came in there and you just lovingly, paid attention to him. So that's awesome. Well, first, I want to just talk about the word reflection. Okay, because you use that word, we're taking this time to reflect, because reflection is a tool, and part of what we're trying to do is we have a toolkit, but we're also trying to model those tools. And reflection is a tool for our well-being. And what reflection is thinking back on something and what did I learn, or what did I gain, or what could I learn, or what could I gain? Reflection is a time to just be still and be quiet and to go into our head and go into our heart. So reflection then becomes a tool for our well-being. So I just wanted to point that out. And then, we were grateful for Nikki's invitation to be a part of this amazing collaboration. And some of the things that we talked about in the very beginning is how healthy collaboration sometimes needs to be spelled out as well. So I'm always key on spelling that out, because healthy collaboration always isn't a norm in our communities, right? And so part of what we are doing is all of these agencies coming together to work in a good way, to put our resources, whether it's our minds, whether it's, our existing work, whether it's, financial resources or whatever, is like putting those together for the better benefit, really to elevate all of what we're doing to better reach our people. And I think it's just awesome that we're modeling that. We have a project called the Indigenous 20-something Project. And when they were first starting this movement, they used those words, healthy collaboration. And some of the feedback that I gave to them was, you need to spell that out for people, because healthy collaboration isn't always a norm, right? And that's one of the lasting impacts of trauma, where we hold on to resources, we hide our resources, or we hang on to them, and we don't want to share, information or whatever. Like, that's a way that our trauma plays out. And so this collaboration has truly been a healthy collaboration from the get-go, from our very first meeting, right? There was laughter, there was good intentions. And we talked about it, like there wasn't ego, there wasn't, well, I'm only going to share this much information and, keep this to myself. Like, there was none of that, right? It's just like we all wholeheartedly came to the table via Zoom to do the planning. We all wholeheartedly gave our best. And we did that because of the work that we have done personally, right? And the intentions that we put into our work and seeing the bigger picture. So healthy collaborations aren't about individuals or even the organizations. It's always about the people, being of service to the people. And we wanted to really put the healing piece in the forefront. So Cheyenne mentioned that, September, is the awareness month to bring awareness about our people, that take their own lives or think about it or attempt it or complete it. And we had a really awesome conversation from the get-go about when we use that word, that S word, are we bringing more attention to it? Are we giving more energy to it? And so when we look at the flip side of that, the healing side of that is the self-love and the self-care piece. So that's what I've loved about this campaign, is that it's coming from a place of healing, and a place of love and a place of care. So we've just been just really honored and happy to be a part of it and to get to work with all you amazing human beings.
Well, thank you, Jolene. Thank you for that really great explanation, and kind of showing where this partnership and work came from, and where our thinking was. And then also I just want to go to Michelle and see if you had any thoughts. And I know one thing you mentioned earlier before we went live was this has been a really cool opportunity to just reconnect with people and build relationships over Zoom. I think everyone is craving relationships right now. So I wonder if you had any thoughts on this collaboration and how it's been a success.
Thank you, Lael. Yeah, I really think, I believe in creator, I believe in divine intervention. And I believe that as we were all taking a look, as we were bracing the fall season, where everybody was at mentally, emotionally, physically, there's still a lot of uncertainty. There's still a lot of fear. There's still a lot of anxiousness. And I just feel that what I was hearing from the field, from educators as well as students through our team is, what's next? What do we need? We need to prepare. And again, all of a sudden, this opportunity and invite to bring our organizations together to really kind of come together and put our knowledge on the table. I kind of think almost like in the Navajo way of our philosophy of learning, when you think about the four directions or the four aspects of the Navajo philosophy of learning, is you think about knowledge, you think about balance, you think about connectivity, and then you think about strength. And that's what I believe we found in this process. we were able to bring our knowledge together. We were able to kind of come together as professionals to find balance in the work that we were doing. And then of course the connectivity, literally via Zoom. So, technology in that way, but also to seeing what was to evolve, and then the strength. I mean, the strength in that medicine is just like that sweet grass around the Native youth as medicine. I mean, we braided our organizations together to be strong, to be medicine for each other as professionals, but also too to see the work amongst, this next generation, you and Cheyenne and Kendra and others, Shailene. I mean, Jolene and I, we were saying that on the very first meeting. We look to the youth, you're our mentees, you're our hope, and you in turn give it to the next generation. And of course the elders, and in the discussion you heard about it, I mean, these are our mentors, these are our leaders in their own right. It just brought joy and strength and hope at a time when we think that all is so dismal and this dystopia that's out there, supposedly. And yeah, it's just a real joy. That's what I think of. It really was inspirational, it's motivational, it brought hope. So when I think about it, and at least when I try to think of the Navajo philosophy, for me, it really was that kind of how Jolene said, a Navajo reflection is kind of like Sihasan, you take a time back to think about all the things that have come. It's all good medicine for us to keep moving forward.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for that, and for everyone's thoughtful answers today and always. It was really great. So we're going to start talking a little bit about what, as we're reflecting on our collaboration, how can we use maybe what we've learned to also encourage other people to collaborate in similar ways, or youth and people coming into the workforce. I know for me, as like a recent college grad and a recent person working, it's been really cool to just see the way that these organizations have come together and allowed people, like younger people like myself and others who have been doing this, to really get involved and have a leadership role. So I think that's something that's really important within a lot of our organizations. But the question I have is, what do you hope this generation of youth know, remember, or acknowledge as they begin stepping into leadership roles within our people? And I'll let you guys choose who wants to kind of tackle that question first. So go ahead and just, unmute yourself if you want to.
I just want to really quickly note that I hope that the youth acknowledge or understand that I hope that they have a sense of belonging and know that they belong in those spaces, because I think that's something, right, that everyone working right now is trying to pave that road for them. I guess sometimes it's referred to as the seat at the table, but just having that sense of belonging and feeling comfortable to lead, to take on leadership roles within our people.
I can go next. So right when you said that they have a seat at the table, I totally agree with that. And it's like a seat at the table of life. Really, like, so we expand that. Like, I want every young person to know that they have a seat at the table of life. And I want every young person to know that they're awesome, right? They're awesome. And that, we descend from miracle survivors of genocide. Like, and when you just like reflect on that little statement alone, we descend from miracle survivors of genocide. Like, that's how awesome and amazing we are as a people, right? And when I reflect on that, and I think about the stories from my tribe about, smallpox as an example, was another pandemic, if you will, that I think about a lot, given that we are in my first pandemic, and I hope it's my only pandemic. But it makes me think of how amazing we are as a people. And in my world, in my head, I know that I'm awesome, but I also know that Cheyenne's awesome, and Lael's awesome, and Stephanie's awesome, and Michelle's awesome. And there's room in my world for all of us to be awesome, right? And that I'm not more awesome than you, and you're not more awesome than me. Like, equally, we're awesome. And I want all of our people to be awesome and to feel awesome, because when we do, we automatically and naturally lift up others. And that's what I want young people to know and to remember and to acknowledge their own awesomeness. And then when we talk about leadership, you know, I try to learn my language, and one of the words in my language, Nagia, is the word for leader. And what it translates to is generosity. And so when we think about, you know, what is a leader, because sometimes we only think of a leader as the person on the Zoom call, the person, you know, talking, or that kind of stuff. And there's many, many ways to be a leader. We don't always have to be the one out front or the one talking or whatever. We can be a leader in many different ways, right? We can lead our own selves at this table in life. We can lead our families, and just by living in a good way, you know, and being generous with our good energy, which means like our thoughts and our prayers, you know, being generous with our time. That's what leadership is too. So just, you know, looking at the many different facets of leadership for our young people. And then the final thing, I want our young people to know that, you know, you're loved and you're cherished by me, by all of us on this Zoom, by so many people that are out there, people that you don't even know, like love and care for you and are praying for you. Like any second of any day, someone is praying for us. Like I know that, and I totally believe that. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Jolene. And then Michelle or Stephanie, whether you want to start in.
It's always impossible to follow Jolene, but I would say as an organization, we have been, you know, hoping to cultivate youth leaders for quite a number of years too, you know, recognizing that their voice is, you know, totally imperative in supporting adolescent health. And so some of the values that we shaped the We Are Native website around were kind of the understanding that, you know, you're not alone. We've got your back. We're all together in this work. And I would say in terms, you know, especially now, because, you know, when we're in person in school settings, it feels maybe easier to reach out and find mentors or internship opportunities or leadership roles. And I think we're going to have to be really creative about how we do that, or really kind of intentional. Like those roles may not fall on you in the same way that they would in an in-school setting or at sports or yeah. So I think we're going to all have to think in a different way about how to connect with mentors or, you know, adult support folks in your lives, finding peer mentors, you know, relying on each other to support us right now.
Yeah, that's so true, Stephanie. Thank you for I'm thinking even just it's, you know, staying connected with other people, friends and family through technology. And that's so, you know, it translates to this like mentorship and leadership stuff too. So thank you for that. And then Michelle, would you like to answer the question?
It's always impossible to follow Stephanie. No, my message to, and my hope for this generation of youth to know is you know, there's going to be the two quintessential questions that one asks themselves their entire life. Who am I and what am I? And it's like the dog chasing the tail. You know, it's just going to go around and around and around. And I think the best question is like the tagline that we were talking about. Indigi love begins with I. Love yourself. Acceptance is the answer. You come from somewhere that never forget where you come from. And if you don't know, never cease to ever find out what that is and where that is. You know, be proud, just as I was hearing the elders talk yesterday, you know, they were saying, be proud of where you come from. Remember where you come from. You know, there's all types of support around there for you, whether it's us here on this panel or, you know, your own relatives are just waiting to hear and talk with you. But also too, on the flip side, you have peers amongst you to lift you up. You know, and if those peers aren't doing that, then find someone else, find somebody to surround yourself with and to not bring you down. I think one thing as well too is, I said at the very beginning, fear will manifest itself in different ways, whether it's anger or resentment or judgment or ego or what have you. And this comes to the leadership piece. I would say everybody has a role to play. One of my taglines when I used to work on the East Coast was, you know, you can't complain if you don't get in the game. Meaning, get in there, find a way, have a voice, be an advocate in your own right for something that you have passion for, and be a part of the change. That's why we have champions for change. That's why we have all these programs, because everybody has an ability and a voice. It's just we need to come out of our shell and our own and join forces with other people to be able to make that change, and be patient and be kind to yourself and be kind to others. And so I am so proud every time I see, just like Jolene said, whenever I see a youth at some type of meeting, I mean, that's how I got my start. I didn't know what I was doing, but I listened and I watched and I observed. And you know, that journey I never forget. And I always tell people, remember those who come before you and always give back freely to that was given to you. And that's what makes our circle happen. So yeah, if you have goals and dreams, put it out there, let it manifest itself and let people know, because they will remember. And if something happens or an opportunity comes up, they will find you. So I think our tagline again, we need you here. So those are my words.
Thank you, Michelle. And I think it's perfect kind of words to bring up a comment that was mentioned on the Facebook. It was a Facebook comment, and I'm just going to read it. And then we're just kind of sending good energy and good thoughts to these people. So the comment is, can you help me pray for a young Indigenous woman, one of my former students? She's struggling with suicidal thoughts right now. She just called me drunk saying she doesn't want to be here anymore. Please pray for her with me. She needs our matriarch energy. So I'm just really thankful that you reached out and left this comment. And thank you for sharing that. And I know that we are praying for her and for you, that you were able to support her and sending you, the energy you need. And yeah, this is, that part of reaching out is so important, and having people you can reach out to is so important. So thank you for sharing that. And we're praying for her and for you. So thank you for that. I don't know if anyone has anything they want to add about that or any comments.
I'd like to thank whomever put that comment in. My heart goes out to you as the one receiving that phone call, but my heart also goes out to that young person. As someone who I can identify, I am a person in recovery. almost 10 years. And I can definitely feel that pain of this young woman. And I just want her to know that she is loved, that that suicide or the thoughts of harming yourself, it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. This shall pass. Reach out, give it to Creator, take it off your back. But that's, I just want to let her know that there's help there. It starts with her, but also the fact that she's reaching out to this educator is so important, because that's the caring adult that she's wanting and that she needs in her life. So yes, my heart goes out to her, but I want this educator to know that she must be someone, or he is someone special in this person's life, because to reach out like that, that's saying something. So I'm happy to touch base with someone offline if that helps. So.
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle. And thanks, Sandra. Sandra has been on several of our power hours. She's the one that commented on that. And Sandra, thank you for asking for prayers. And I think that's another great example. You know, we talk about the tools that we need to help ourselves, and asking for help is like a tool. And again, because of trauma, a lot of us don't ask for help, and we keep the stuff, and we suffer through things. And so asking for help, and thanks for modeling that, Sandra. Asking for help is like huge, especially when we talk about this. And Sandra, our prayers will be for you as well, for your strength, and helping this young woman move through her struggles right now. And the other thing too is like another tool. And actually, it's going to be one of the gifts people that submit a submission is some of our traditional medicines. And so always, like, I have mine like right here by me. And after this call, we're gonna light a smudge for her and for all of our people who are struggling during this time, and a smudge for all of the people who take that healthy risk and to step up and to answer the calls when people call out for help.
Thank you so much for that, Jolene. Yeah, and thank you for everyone. Thank you for the comment and for reaching out, echoing everything that Jolene and Michelle have said. So that's just, it's really great to see how we can kind of bring that into this space and acknowledge it, and offer our prayers and support from being so, you know, we're all so far away and we're in this virtual setting. So I think that's really powerful that we can do that together. So our next question that we have is kind of going back into this collaboration, reflecting on it. What advice would you have for other individuals or organizations or teams who want to collaborate with others? So maybe I'll start with Stephanie for that one.
Sure. I think the most important part is finding organizations that have aligned values and missions. We're all trying to reach youth and promote their well-being. But I think the strength really comes, as Michelle was mentioning, in finding partners that kind of fill your gaps and kind of acknowledging the uniqueness of each organization and what they bring to the table, because each of us have kind of different lenses that we focus on, or different approaches that we use, but working together, we're able to really maximize that partnership and what we're all able to do. But at the same time, like, we have to kind of recognize and understand each other's limitations and support that. Like, I think some of the best partnerships, you have conversations about, oh, that's an opportunity, we could go after that or do that, but we don't have the resources, we can't do it right now, I don't have the time, but someone else at the table does, or someone else knows someone. And so having this sort of forum where we're really bringing our minds together to problem solve, you'll think of something that you didn't think of ahead of time, and someone will have an idea that you wouldn't have had on your own. It really just expands what you thought you would be able to do on your own.
Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, thinking about that, I think this is like a collaboration that can continue beyond just this campaign. So, having these relationships and continuing to do stuff to promote self-love, but then also the work that our organizations do beyond that is a really awesome kind of outcome of this. So that's really cool. Cheyenne, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I just wanted to note a comment I seen in the live was to be a good listener, and that's kind of what I was thinking about was being a good listener, but even further than that, being willing to hear, accept, try to understand other people's perspectives, and being willing to learn from your collaborators, and just appreciating that we're all trying to get to the same goal. But kind of mimicking what Stephanie said, we might have different approaches. So being willing to understand those, or try to accept other people, understand, being willing to learn from each other, because I think that's learning from each other is ultimately just going to benefit everyone that we're working for. And I would just encourage everyone to try it. Just if you think that you can help this person, or that maybe they can help you, and you're going to do something for the greater good, encourage you to reach out and establish those connections to network. I think once we all begin to work together, there is unlimited opportunity for the good things that we can bring to our people.
Thank you, Cheyenne. And then I'll go to Michelle and then Jolene to close us out.
Well, I just think about, strength in numbers, that old adage. It's like when you have an amazing group of like-minded individuals coming together and leveraging each other's resources, your capacity and your abilities. And really, I just in thinking about this collaboration, I mean, very well-respected organizations, dedicated, committed, the good works. It's amazing when you lay out the platter of the organizations and the opportunities there, how we become enlightened of each other's work. We become stronger by knowing that, and then how we could, be able to share, and our audiences are much more wider, meaning to our Native people and Alaska Native folks. But also too, I think probably a big thing is I always say there's enough to go around. There's so much work to be done, and it doesn't necessarily, I think it's that old sports analogy of like, there's no I in team, right? It's got to be a collective, and that's who we are as a people and as a community and as neighbors. We just need to be able to put the politics and personalities aside and just go for it. And that's the beauty. It's home working with these organizations. So I guess a lot of us have long histories, and we have a lot of connections, and that's just been beautiful and an honor to have done this work, and it will continue.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Oh gosh, all kinds of things are swirling in my head. There was a comment in the comment sections about what you were describing as what some people will call lateral oppression. So the comment was about, even in our own families, we have members that can push to bring you down, right? And so that is like the opposite of healthy collaboration. And it's important to put words to what lateral oppression is, because lateral oppression is what stops healthy collaborations from happening. And lateral oppression, or lateral violence, as it's sometimes called, is a lasting impact of trauma. And what it is when we internalize, which means we believe it in our heads and we believe it in our hearts, that we're less than. And so, because historically we have experienced colonization, and the ongoing effects of colonization is called colonialism. It's another ism. So when we talk bad about another person, we start gossip about another person, we try to bring another person down, we're actually continuing the work of the colonizers. So it's important to understand that. And so when we be mean on social media and call somebody out in a very hurtful way, that's an example of lateral oppression. When one of our friends maybe goes to treatment to quit drinking and they come back home and we offer them a beer, that's lateral oppression. When somebody tries to go to language class to learn their language or participate in making regalia and we make fun of them, that's lateral oppression. So those are the opposites of healthy collaboration. And so the answer to that is healing. The answer to trauma is healing. And so when we catch ourselves doing that, we can pause and we can stop, right? And then try to turn that around and really use the tool of reflection to think about why do I do that? Why do I drag that person down? What is it about me that I'm trying to accomplish there? So when we can move through that kind of stuff, then we can get into healthy collaborations. I mean, healthy collaborations even go down to healthy relationships. I mean, that's a part of healthy collaborations. How can I enter into a healthy relationship with someone? And to me, the epitome of a healthy relationship is about bringing out the best in each other. And I think we have these behind the scenes meetings to prepare and plan to do all this stuff. And to me, that's what we're doing. We're trying to bring out the best in each other. And Stephanie and Michelle and I from the very get-go, we're talking about these amazing young women. It's just you guys do it. You know what you're doing. We'll provide some guidance and support here, but you guys, you guys are amazing. We wanted the best for these young women that are a part of this collaboration, and it's actually been awesome to join them and to do it, this intergenerational collaboration as well, right? Because that's part of our jobs. And we talked about that in the very get-go, Stephanie and Michelle and I, we've been doing this for a few decades longer, right? And it's a part of our jobs, in a healthy collaboration to guide and support and to teach, that's what mentors do, right? So that's a part of healthy collaborations as well. And so there's a term in public health called collective impact. And what that means is by collectively coming together to make a bigger impact, pooling our resources to make a bigger impact. And that's what we're trying to do in this collaboration, right? None of us reach every single Native youth in this country, right? But together, collectively, we're casting our net a little bit wider, right? And so we're trying to make that bigger impact. And so when we are in a good place, when we aren't carrying all this baggage around that, keeps our vision like this and, keeps our resources like this, we're not going to be able to do healthy collaboration. So when we work on our own selves and we let go of some of that baggage and we want other people to, experience amazing things, that's going to fuel healthy collaborations. And honestly, I'm super excited about what's going to come next. We don't know what's going to come next. What's the next thing going to be that we're going to collaborate on? And I look forward to that.
Thank you, Jolene. Yes, I think another piece we haven't touched on is this is an intergenerational collaboration. And I've really appreciated that for myself and Cheyenne and Shailene and Kendra for being able to learn from you three, and your experience has just been really, really cool. And yeah, just collaboration, healthy collaboration everywhere is so great. So that's been really, for me, really thankful to be a part of that. And I think one thing that stands out to me a lot is just kind of the smiles and laughter in a lot of our meetings. And I think that's such an important part of working together and getting stuff done, is having that kind of joy in it. So that's one thing that stood out to me from the last month of working together with these groups. But just to kind of close us out in the last 10 minutes, we want to share the last part of our campaign that we've been working on. It is a resource toolkit that we all contributed to. So one of the things we were sort of realizing when we started this whole collaboration together is that there's so many resources out there for youth, but it's not really centralized or consolidated. And so it's hard to, if you're in crisis, or if you just want some support in some way, it's hard to know where to look. So we have, our 3 organizations have kind of gone through our websites and our tools and our resources that we each have, and have put them together into a toolkit that really focuses on self-love, self-care, and how you can take care of yourself and check in on your wellness anytime, but especially in times of crisis. One other thing that we kind of talked about is a lot of times it can be scary to reach out for help, and you don't know what's going to happen once you do. So when you reach out to a crisis line or to a friend, or call a phone number, like what's going to happen after that? So one thing we wanted to do is, with this resource toolkit, was kind of share some information on what happens once you reach out, and what these different resources look like. So I think someone will be dropping the link to that resource toolkit in the comment section of the Facebook Live. So go ahead and go check that out. In that you can see all of the recordings from our past Communities of Healing Power Hour. And those are really awesome. They just have little like good information about how to take care of your well-being. So if you want some advice on spiritual health, you can go to the spiritual health one and get some advice, or any of them, you can go and get some advice. So those are really, really amazing resources there that we've just been working on in the last month. And then we also have different links to our websites and some different PDFs of ways to take care of yourself. So if you're stressed out and you want to do a coloring book, there's a really awesome one there from Native Wellness Institute, and also from We Are Native. Or if you just want to read an article about how to, take care of yourself better, we have some awesome articles there. So I hope you all go and check that out. We'll be updating it with more resources as we find them, and as we kind of pool our resources together more. I think one thing that's so great about this toolkit is everyone's been talking about it, like collaboration. Healthy collaboration is not about kind of hoarding resources, but it's about sharing it with each other, and not trying to attach our name or our brand. It's not about ego. So this toolkit is really a way to just make these resources available for youth to promote, self-love and self-care. So that's what that's about. So go and check it out. And as a reminder, our call for submissions is still out there. So I don't know if someone else can drop that link, the submissions link, into the Facebook Live chat. But if you go there to our We Are Native website, you can drop anything, your thoughts on self-love and self-care. And once you do, it's also linked in the toolkit. Thank you, Cheyenne. So you can find that from the toolkit. But if you drop that in there, we will be working on healing kits to send out to everyone who completes a submission. So that'll be really fun, coming out in the next month. And also the call for submissions is now open to all ages. So we'd love to hear from our adults and our elders, children, anyone. If you want to submit one for your kid, anything. We just want to hear about how you love yourself and how you take care of yourself. So I think I kind of touched on everything. I would love to hear maybe one last kind of round from everyone, thoughts on maybe the resource toolkit, or last thoughts on this collaboration we've been doing. So in our last 5 minutes, we'll just kind of go around and hit everyone. And I think I'll start with Cheyenne. If you have any thoughts or things from the toolkit you want to mention, or last thoughts about this.
I just want to mimic what you said about the self-love. And even if you, I encourage you all to participate in our self-love call for submissions, because give you a little insight, you will be getting a shirt and some fresh picked items from our collaborative. And so why not get some little freebies while also loving yourself and sharing with others how you can love it, how they can love themselves. I just hope that these power hours have been beneficial to all of you out there, and I hope that you can take something good from them and share with your network, whether that's your family, your friends, your loved ones. And I hope that during this pandemic that's been really heavy for us, not being able to see each other, see our relatives, that our collaboration has been able to bring just a little bit of light during this hard time. We're all just trying to get through it together, and just praying that it ends soon and that we can get back to a new normal. Not sure what that will look like, but just continuing to hope for good things for all of you out there and all of your families. Thank you for tuning in with us today.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Stephanie, I'll go to you.
Yeah, I think this has really been such a wonderful conversation with each other, and it really gets me energized for kind of the next phase of how we might work together and bring our ideas to the table moving forward. So I would say this is just the beginning. There will be more exciting things ahead of us as we continue to, think through how we change and adapt to what's happening around us. Focus in on the most important pieces of our work. That's kind of something I keep telling myself, that, the way that we were doing things before won't necessarily be possible or even the best, and having to reassess and think through what makes sense going forward. What can I put my energy into that's going to really be impactful? And so I'm excited to explore that with all of you moving forward.
Thank you, Stephanie. And then Michelle.
Yeah, I just am so grateful to be a part of this circle, but also to think about all the thoughtful details that were done during the power hours, from the beginning to the topics to even this week, the youth, the elders, and then today. I truly, truly, truly am so honored and proud to have had this collaborative, and I know where you guys live. So Native Wellness Institute and Center for Native American Youth. And I think I would encourage the field to really take a step back and think about reaching out in other ways that we could really leverage reach and visibility and alliance. But I would just say this, I know there's great hope out there, and my mind is still thinking about this young woman. And I'm not letting that escape my mind, but it just really shows that there's still people, and including our young people, who are wandering. Our outsides don't reflect our insides. And I just want folks to know, as I mentioned, that they're not alone. We're here. Reaching out for help it takes courage. And as I mentioned, overcome that fear and do it anyway. And, I think as our elders told us yesterday, spiritual fitness and connection is so important. And whatever that looks like for you, and regardless of age, that's always there for you. And I would hope that in these trying times, that you don't have to walk alone, and you are not alone. And I think, so I just want to put a special shout out that, again, we are here for you, and we're hopeful for that next generation, which is our youth.
Thank you, Michelle. And then just to kind of close us out, I'll pass it back to Jolene.
Thanks, Lael. So like a couple months ago, we lost one of our board members to COVID, and he was our elder, and he really modeled and taught us when people call us to pray for them, like we stop everything that we do and we pray for them. And he lived over the mountain from us, and he would call and say, be here at 2 o'clock, or be here at 4 o'clock, or, whatever, like we're going into ceremony to pray. And so now we have to step up and take that role that he played. Like that's what happens, right? And we know that death is a part of life. And when death happens, it creates this shift, and everybody shifts. And so we're like right in the moment of that shifting. And so I want people out there watching and listening to know that if you need prayers, to please call upon any one of our organizations. Like, this is how serious we take our work. And our work isn't just 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. You know, when we work with our people and our communities, it's like 24/7, 365, right? And so please call upon us for prayers. And you know, in my world, in my head, I know that healing is the answer to everything. Like, healing is the answer to everything. And healing is an act of self-care, and healing is an act of self-love. Like, that is my vision for myself. It's the vision for my family, for my people, for all of our people. That is my vision. And I will continue to do this work, and I will continue to mentor and put that into the minds of other people, because that's what people did for me. Like, I'm carrying the work of other people that started this before me. And my vision is that these young people and others that are listening in will continue to carry this work, because lots of our people out there are hurting. And we really wanted to end today with just a moment of silence. And if we could just take a few seconds and, in our own ways, pray for all of our people that are out there that need prayers. And collectively, we're going to send our love out and help to uplift them, help them to know that people are out there for them. So if we could just have a moment of silence, and in your own way, please send that love out. Thank you, everyone, and I'll pass it back to Lael.
Thank you for closing us in that way, Jolene. I think that was very important. And I just want to reiterate what everyone said is, yeah, we're here to send our prayers to you, and just to really care for you. And we hear, I think referring to the comment, we hear your reach out for help, and we just appreciate that and really honor that. So I just want to thank everyone who has been on this live today with us. Thank you for participating and listening. And it's just been, yeah, such a pleasure to get to share some of this information with you all. So have a great weekend, and happy Indigenous Peoples Day. I almost forgot about that. So it's coming up on Monday. But yeah, all right. Thank you, everyone.